Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Round the World Radio Show right here. You guys know what it is. We talk all things pro wrestling. Let me throw it up and see what Ray's doing first. Let me send it up to Boston for Ray. Ray, how you doing, brother?
I fucking hate it here, but I'll never fucking leave.
Okay.
There's fucking 4 feet of snow. It's freezing rain. It's 18 degrees. I fucking hate it here, but I'll never leave.
Technical difficulties. Cannot hear.
Now we're gonna send it over to Jay. Jay, how you doing?
He's in a daze, man. He's in a daze.
I can tell. Is he working off the AOL 300?
I mean, I think he's working off a 10-10 220.
Holy moly. But guys, again, we are the Round the World Radio Show. We are sponsored by Simply Greens. They are your convenient cannabis store right over here in Coram, New York. Definitely go check them out. And actually, guys,
where do they get their supply? Where do they get their flowers from?
That I'm not sure about, but I will tell you right now.
They're not locally sourced, John?
No. But we do have some stuff coming up with them. But I want to kind of pull back the curtain here for a second. And I've been thinking long and hard on this one. And yes, that's what she said.
Hey-o.
And I know a lot of people have been seeing that I've been taking off, that I took off the last couple of weeks. And I'm slowly coming back.
It's your show. You can do whatever you want. The hell?
I know. I'm just saying, I was thinking. Yes, guys, I actually used my head. I was actually thinking.
Good Lord, help us all.
And I realized where, yes, it was nice to take off the couple of weeks and nice to kind of recharge the batteries. The best place for therapy was sitting here with you guys, talking bullets. And I couldn't be happier, to be back in the swing of things. But guys, we have a lot of stuff to get to. Obviously, we're coming off the fall of the Elimination Chamber.
The Extreme Elimination Chamber.
Actually, I would rather call it the extremely interesting.
The extremely bad Elimination Chamber.
Which we'll get into that.
Drizzling shits Elimination Chamber.
Well, first, Jake, can you finally hear us now? Oh, okay.
He said, "Fuck you, John." That's literally what he said.
But we had, like I said, we got a lot of stuff to get to. Also, we found out the next induction into the Hall of Fame. But before we get into all that, let's talk about the biggest part of what we've seen the last 2 days. And that is the debut of Danhausen.
Oh, my Christ.
Now, I'm just going to say this right now. People I see in all these Facebook groups on, when it comes to talking about this, they're all saying how it was a bad debut. I saw one person compare it to the Gobbledygooker. You remember that from back in the 90s? Here's what people are forgetting to mention. The reason why that debut fell so flat Saturday is because unless you're a diehard wrestling fan, like myself, Ray, Jay, David, David Reynolds, Billy, unless you're a diehard hardcore fan, you have no idea who the hell he is.
Hey, speaking of David Reynolds, he's checking in from the UK. Says, "Hey, fellas, finally watching via my wrestling group on Facebook again. Check that out. It's amazing what happens when you go and reconnect the Facebook."
But, Ray, I want to ask you, overall, what do you think of the debut of Danhausen?
I am the absolute wrong person to ask when it comes to Danhausen. I think Danhausen, I'm not a fan of Danhausen, never have been a fan of the Danhausen gimmick. Am a fan, however, of Donovan, who is Danhausen. He is a phenomenal wrestler. I mean, he's a 5-tool player. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, that wasn't working for him the way that he wanted to. it to work out for him, so he went and created the Danhausen character, and I fucking hate it because I've seen what he can do, and I've seen him go, and now he's kind of pigeonholed himself into this, for lack of a better phrase, fucking meme of a character.
I hear what you're saying on that, and I believe me, that's been, from what a lot of people have said. I'm curious to see what they do with him.
Now, I am a little curious to see some interactions between him and R-Truth.
Yes. That's kind of
I think you could have Danhausen and R-Truth on every episode of Raw and SmackDown doing backstage little skits. I think it would be phenomenal.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that 100%. I would also love to see an interaction if you have also him come out with a really serious wrestler. Like, how much would you pay for him and Brock?
How about him and Gunther?
Oh God! We'll try to see.
I mean, that would be pretty. That would be a pretty crazy interaction. Oh my God, is he actually here now?
I'm back.
Back.
My computer is total crap show tonight, but we got to work.
Crappy weather. It's kind of what happens when you're on that McDonald's Wi-Fi.
Bottles.
I mean, just because I don't like the Danhausen gimmick doesn't mean that I can't say how I'd like to see it, plan for it. I think that there is a lot of potential, as far as laughs and, of course you're going to want that. You're going to want the interaction between him and his best friend, Pepsi Phil.
Oh yeah, of course.
So I really just don't want to see him in the ring. Okay. Because they're not going to let him wrestle the way that I have seen him wrestle before the gimmick. They're going to want him to wrestle in a way that fits the gimmick.
I'll put it this way. Let's go to, before I make my comment, let me go to David's comment here. He said Danhausen's debut at Elimination Chamber fell flat. However, his segment on Raw was quite comical, and think about it. He brings entertainment factor and the potential boost to merch sales, which will probably go through the roof. Hunter is thinking of the money signing him. That's the funny thing, though. If you go to WWE
HOF, wow,
shop,
imagine that. TKO thinking about the money. Throw
funny.
A poster in my bathtub and color me shocked.
The number one selling t-shirt right now on WWE.com is Danhausen.
Of course it is.
I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see where this all goes with him. But Jay, I want to get your thoughts. What did you think about Danhausen's debut on Saturday? Then what do you think about what he did last night on Raw in the backstage segment with Adam Pearce and then Judgment Day?
I don't think he's there. I think he lied to us.
Yes. So, Ray, I'll ask you this.
Yeah, I mean,
sit on a throne of lies, Jay.
I don't know if you guys can hear me.
I think Danhausen cursed your internet.
So, Ray,
Sit on a throne of lies.
Yeah, Jay, you're like really lagging there, buddy. While he figures out his Dell,
it wouldn't be a show if we didn't have technical difficulties.
I want to ask you though, Ray, what were your thoughts on Danhausen's segment last night on Raw?
I thought it was amusing. I thought that the way he just popped up and scared. I was going to say Adam Cole. I miss Adam Cole. Adam Pearce was comical. I thought their interaction was funny. And then, of course, he curses Dom. And what happens when you get cursed? you get cursed.
Yeah. And the part I laughed was when he said, "Oh, I have Danhausens."
I've got the Danhausens.
And it was
Here is my Listhausen.
It was his photo all over the production trucks. It was
a Hall of Fame induction this year.
Yeah. And then I forgot there was another part to it.
Yeah, I forgot what the other one was.
Oh, he was a personal camera.
Oh, his personal camera and personal assistant.
Yeah. And then I love the reaction. Also, he goes to hand Pierce the paper. And Pierce turns around and goes, "Why is it all wet?"
Because it fell in the toilet.
And it was just, okay, we're going to try this again.
Okay. The camera looks better, so I'm assuming he's in a better place.
In a better world, in a better place.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Ooh.
Oh, the blimp. Thank you, David.
I'm in Alice in Borderland here.
Right? He said that the first thing that was on his list of Danhausens was the blimp that David just reminded us of.
Yes, I did forget about that.
Blimp.
Jack Patterson over on the Facebook says Danhausen is going to be used like a jobber, I believe. Which you are probably correct. However, that would be can we stop using the term jobber in a negative connotation? Like you're using it as a negative connotation, and I don't mean this directed just at Jack. I just mean as a wrestling community overall. Can we just not use jobber like it has a negative connotation? Because in fact, that's not what it is. Because if you are an enhancement talent and the boss says, "I need you to do the job" to Danhausen, you're literally doing the job, which is your job as an enhancement talent. But anyway,
but then hold on, right? If you go off that, then I agree with what you're saying. But how many times do we see wrestlers now? Take somebody like The Miz, for example, who last I heard, I think has a win in like a year or so.
Something like that.
Is he considered an enhancement talent, or is he considered a jobber?
I mean, he's only had, how many matches has he had in a year? He's not on my TV a whole lot. I believe there was a 6-month span where he wasn't even on TV.
But I'm just trying to make the point to our listeners, just because you are losing,
doing the job,
it doesn't mean like we were saying, if you have the term of the title of you're the jobber, so to speak, it's not a bad thing. Because case in point, look at Chelsea Green. She doesn't have many wins.
Do not call her a jobber.
No, Ray, I'm not calling her a jobber. But I'm saying is I can see people who would turn around and call her one. And I would say right now, I think she's one of the most over women wrestlers in WWE.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely 100%. There's a funny little exchange, and I don't want to promote it. You can find it on your own, but there's a funny exchange with a Hall of Famer from WWE and Michael P.S. Hayes on their podcast that they do with their wife. And the host gets Hayes talking about how great Chelsea is and and she needs to just be on TV all the time. And he literally looks at him and goes, "Yeah, we know. So why isn't she?"
I'm going to say this right now. You want to talk about somebody who is on she's on TV, maybe a minute, 2 minutes, most episodes?
Yeah, no more. If we were to say, unfortunately, if we were to say 5 minutes, that would be too long as to how long she's on the screen. I don't mean that I think she would be on the screen for too long if she were on my screen for 5 minutes. No. They have yet to give her a full 5-minute segment. But the thing is, whenever she's on our screens, she makes the most of it, whether it's 30 seconds, a minute, 3 minutes,
Yeah, and she there's a term, optimizing her time.
Yeah.
She optimizes what time she's given. And I mean, now, do I think her going into when you look at the title picture right now with Jade, obviously ahead of having the top title when it comes to the women.
Well, hold on, because we are going to address Jade in a minute, but we got some comments to get through. Jack Patterson over on the Facebook says, wrong wording. When I started, that is what they called it. And that's perfectly fine. Again, I wasn't directing that towards you. It's just you brought it up, and it's been a rant that's been kind of festering for a while, the negative connotation under the word jobber. And then David says, I hate the term jobber. Wrestlers take losses as well as wins. They should abolish the term jobber.
But like we can do a whole episode on the most infamous, jobber as enhancement talents.
Oh my God! If you don't have Barry Horowitz and Iron Mike Sharp top 2, then I don't want to talk to you.
Okay, well, if you want to be technical, then we had one of the greatest enhancement talents on the show, Barry Horowitz.
Yeah,
we've had him on the show a couple of times.
Yeah. You also know who was kind of an enhancement talent, and I believe he said it when he was on the show with us. The late great Lanny Poffo.
Yeah, it's weird to think we had. Yeah. That's going back to the early days.
That is going back to the early days.
Because some of the times, some of these wrestlers, they had that title of jobber or enhancement talent, but they were like, I don't care. We're getting on TV. I mean, case in point, I'll give you another name, another guy who you can sort of consider to be a jobber with WWE. Look at Brian Myers. Remember that the streak he went on when he lost, and then what was the end of that? What was this payoff? Him and what's his face? Him and Zack Ryder won the tag titles.
Yes, thank you. Only his best friend in the entire world that we couldn't think of his name.
Yeah, I was going to call him what he is now, Matt Cardona.
Well, yeah, because that's kind of his name.
But my point is this, though: you can have that title, and it not be a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, Jack Patterson over in our Facebook comments is even saying Iron Mike Sharp.
Great wrestler. And we interviewed a couple of people that were trained by Iron Mike Sharp. Cerberus, if I'm not mistaken, was trained by Iron Mike Sharp in, what do you say, Jersey? Was it Jersey?
Yeah, Jersey, yeah.
So, but yeah, Iron Mike Sharp, great wrestler.
It really is. We're seeing a lot of these guys, but I just want to get back to the fallout that we saw from the Chamber.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know. Let's look at the women first. Rhea Ripley won the Chamber, and she is now going to be taking on Jade for the title at Mania.
Yes.
Are we shocked by this? Safe bet here? What do you?
So here's the thing. I think that having Raquel win would have been fantastic. I would have liked to have seen the Raquel Jade matchup. However, I think that they had Rhea do it because Rhea can match her strength, and Rhea has now reached that upper level where she can mask some of Jade's deficiencies.
And we were saying this last week on the show that you needed somebody to win this Chamber who can kind of, as Paul Heyman always says, show the positive but hide the weaknesses.
Right. And I think Rhea can do just that. And while we're on the subject, last night during Raw, Rhea had her promo because of her winning the Elimination Chamber. And she said some things regarding Jade, which then lit off an entire firestorm on social media. Jade was talking about Rhea being in creative, and that's why she's, I think she said something along the lines of shocking that the person that spends most of their time in creative was the one that won. or something like that. Chelsea Green jumps in and says, Rhea is proof that you can be kind, respectful, and the most talented wrestler in the world. Jade then goes after Chelsea and says, it's no point to even go and embarrass you on this app, meaning X. You always have something to say about everything. Insert Slagent P, Piper Niven, who says, who the fuck said anything about you? Contrary to your belief, the world doesn't actually revolve around you. No point to even embarrass you on this app. Give you enough ring time and you'll do it yourself. Piper to Jade. Then Jade goes on to say, hope you're healing okay. Can't wait to give you some ring time. And then Piper responds with, maybe by the time you're back from your many vacations, I'll finally be recovered. Lick my ring, you boot. So, and after seeing that, I did see that I think it was Body Slam may have posted it, that this is not a work. This is not a work. This actually happened. It is a shoot, and they, however, don't believe it's going to affect how they interact during WrestleMania. So it looks like the grumblings that we heard when she was in AEW about being a malcontent seem to be true when it comes to Jade. Now, I enjoyed Jade. I like Jade as a performer. I do not think Jade deserves a world championship. She just doesn't. I don't want to say the work rate, but the quality of her work. You know, like she'll have one good match, two bad matches, and then she's gone for 6 months because she's on vacation. And it's just me and Jay. I have no idea where John went. And I don't think Jay can hear me. That's awesome. Oh, it's just me. We are doing a solo show now, folks. That is quite frightening. I feel sorry for every single one of you. So, right where we left off, which was what we thought of Rhea winning the Women's Elimination Chamber. Jay has come back. Hopefully,
Jesus, I'm like still stuck in this borderland. I don't know what the hell is going on with
in no man's land right now, buddy.
I love it. Is it my turn to rebuttal? Because I heard everything you said.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. Because I didn't want to have to repeat it again. Yeah, please go right ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to 100% disagree with you. And I'm going to base it off one big, huge factor, and that is the Elimination Chamber, which the question was asked to me by John Blaine last week. Will you watch WrestleMania if you like the Elimination Chamber? I said it all depends. And while, John, I'm going to do it for homework, but does Jay really want to watch WrestleMania this year? Hell no. But now, moving forward to what you exactly said in your point. I agree with you on everything, but I totally disagree with you. I think it is a work. I know it's a work. It's 100% work because let's face it, I don't want to embarrass or I don't want to bury, let's use the word bury. I don't want to embarrass or bury two of my WWE superstars I have there in Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. I think this is just a cheap angle that they're trying to get because there is no heat. Like you mentioned, every reason why Jay needs to work with someone like a Rhea Ripley because she just doesn't have it. And all those rumblings about AEW, I agree with you on that. I truly think there's people backstage because let's face it, they write this shit. So there's people backstage that know that this girl cannot work. So is it going to work to get people into it? Yeah, you're going to be excited for it. You want to know, is it a shoot? Is it an angle? Is it a this? Is it a that? But let's face it, folks. We have less than 6 weeks away to WrestleMania, and right now the matches are getting blurrier and blurrier every week we're watching Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. We got to get some sort of heat. Why not this? People know she cannot work in all stadiums. We all see it every single week. That's why we haven't put her in a match in the last month and a half. It's just that simple. So I just think it's a complete work. They're just trying to get this heat, and that's what it is for Jay.
Wouldn't it be nice if they brought back the 30-day no compete clause for champions?
I wish.
Don't compete for 30 days. Don't defend the
wish.
title for 30 days. And it had to be defend the title. So compete is probably the wrong stipulation, but the title defense stipulation every 30 days, I feel like it made TV more entertaining because your champ was actually there defending. Of course, that's also when we see more of like Iron Mike Sharp, more Barry Horowitz, because it's just a title defense. But think about it. Who would be stripped of their titles at this current point in time, if that stipulation still existed? Who would be stripped of their titles in WWE for violating the 30-day no defend your title stipulation?
Everyone except Carmelo Hayes.
Yep.
Every single person.
Every single one.
Every single one.
Well, no, hold on.
Okay.
Punk defended at Elimination Chamber.
I'm talking about this. He just recently won the belt. I'm going way back. I'm going to say everyone. Because that title was never defended even before he won it. Seth never defended it. Never.
No. I mean, he only defended it on the big cards, but that's about it.
So you could say Punk. You want to say Punk. I say Carmelo Hayes. I say everyone to say. When was the last time we saw a tag team title match?
Goes to show you what they think of the tag team division.
But they've always had that thought about the tag team division for years.
Then why sign Lucha Bros? Why keep signing Motor City Machine Guns? Why?
Oh, I can say exactly why, because they don't want them to go to AEW.
So now we're back to the whole TNA. We're gonna play hostage.
Believe me, I'm the first one who would scream to the freaking gills that they can use Motor City Machine Guns better and not keep them on main event, or the Lucha Brothers, or hell, how about the fact you got Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa involved in the MFT crap?
This crap.
I
said this right. Hold on. I said this a couple weeks ago on the show. You could have a fatal four-way for the tag belts: Gorillas of Destiny, Motor City Machine Guns, Lucha Brothers, the Usos. Tell me that wouldn't put butts in seats.
If you make it a tornado tag, 100%.
Yeah, tornado tag. Everybody's in the whole 9 yards.
Oh my God. You could literally give that could be your closing 2 segments for a Raw or a SmackDown.
But that's what I'm trying to say, though.
So let me ask you this, guys. You guys would love to see that. So that means you're invested in all these people? Because I'm not. So you would like to see them in a 20-minute tornado tag match, and you invested in these characters and everything?
Yes, because John and I have been invested in them since before they became WWE superstars.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm talking about now that they're in WWE.
So you're talking about
I'm just saying that
everything
I'm not
they did
invested
prior to WWE.
No, I'm blaming WWE for me not getting invested like you guys and watching all these guys in a tornado tag match just for the fact that I see them booked like this for the last 2 years. That's why it took it out for me. Like, it's a great idea. You guys bring a great point. I think they need to do something new at WrestleMania, like you guys say. But the way they're being booked, how can I be invested in all these characters, all these guys having this match for 25 minutes of my time? It's hard.
200%. But you put those guys in the ring, the Gorillas of Destiny guys.
Oh, it's going to be a great match.
And basically, you're the agent for that match. And you turn around to them and tell them, okay, we're giving you guys the last 40 minutes of Monday Night Raw. Or you guys have to here's a shocker. What about the tag team's main event in a PLA?
What?
I can't even recall the last time.
Yeah, you gotta go back to the
Lord. I think the last time the tag team titles
WCW
were even sniffing a main event spot at any pay-per-view Like Demolition had the titles.
Well, actually,
I was going to say WCW doesn't.
and what about the Usos and New Day?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Match at Hell in a Cell.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, John. There you go.
Oh no. Well, a New Day and Evolution 2.0. Wasn't that a main event for? It wasn't one of the big.
I think it was a main event, right?
I'm pretty sure it was when they had that Falls Count Anywhere battle. It was the first time that we saw Big E do the spear through the middle ropes to the outside.
I don't know if maybe a main event. Maybe.
Let's go to the comments here, and then we'll get back to this. Over on YouTube, Mark is checking us out. Hey, everybody, what's up? Hey, Mark, I'm looking forward to actually seeing you, Mark, on Saturday at Ace as they present Hero Celebration.
Oh, sounds good.
So, checking us out again is Navarre. Navarre, I'm glad to see you check us out
Navarre.
again. David says, my guess is Rio will win at Mania and switch to SmackDown to both strengthen and add some consistency to the Blue brand.
Great idea. I just hope it don't happen like that. I have another idea.
And then going back to the conversation we were having before about enhancement talent, Mike Jackson was another one. Isn't he? Did he just appear in TNA like the last Tapins or something?
Beats me, bro.
I don't know.
I think so. I think he's like 75 years old and he can still wrestle.
Yeah.
I think
a lot better than some other 70-year-olds that we've seen wrestle and almost die.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. But guys, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to actually hear a word from our sponsors over at Simply Green. When we come back, we're going to get into who just got inducted into the Hall of Fame and who do we think should be the one to induct them. We'll be right back right after this. You are listening to the Round Nose Radio Show. We'll be right back right after this.
At Simply Green, we believe in the power of nature to bring balance, relaxation, and well-being. As a premium THC brand, our mission is to provide high-quality, responsibly sourced products that enhance your lifestyle. Whether you're seeking relaxation, creativity, or wellness support, we curate a selection of top-tier THC to suit your needs. Rooted in trust and transparency, we are committed to delivering safe, lab-tested products while fostering a community that embraces education and responsible use. Simply Green is more than just a brand. It's a movement for a greener, more mindful future. Call 631-846-6060 to order or visit our location in Coram, New York. For use only by adults 21 years of age and older. Keep out of reach of children and pets. Please consume responsibly. Cannabis is not recommended for use by persons who are pregnant or nursing. Concerned about your cannabis use? Contact the New York State HOP line by texting HOPE-NY, calling 1-877-8, HOPE-NY, or visiting oasisny.gov/HOPE.
And it looks like it's just me and Jay again.
Woo, baby!
I think John went to go make a dispensary trip.
What's the next topic? What we got?
All right, so let's finish wrapping up our Elimination Chamber shit show.
The Elimination Chamber Massacre.
All right, so we did the women's with Rhea Ripley winning. Randy Orton won the men's Elimination Chamber, just as we predicted he would last week, just so that he can take that loss and not be hurt by it. Was that the right move, Jay?
It was the perfect move, Ray. But this is where Jay got pissed and he wanted to break his television.
Oh, please don't.
Right? He saw the post show of Drew McIntyre, Nick Aldis going at it.
Oh my God.
To Nick Aldis saying that Cody Rhodes would get a championship match this Friday at SmackDown. I was completely pissed off.
They're going to fucking shoehorn him in. They're going to give him the Charlotte Flair shoehorn, and they're going to make it a triple threat.
I disagree.
That's what pissed me off. And that's what pissed me off about the whole thing.
Because there's going to be some chicanery, to borrow a word from Gorilla Monsoon.
You're telling me
some chicanery.
That's been, yeah, go ahead. No, you were talking about a guy that's been there 20 plus years. You're not going to give him the chance to go one-on-one with Drew McIntyre for the championship. And you're going to tell me all these months, there's not a story there between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre?
Right?
Not as much as there's one between Cody.
Cody Rhodes is bigger. No, hold on. So Cody Rhodes is bigger, is what they're telling me. Cody Rhodes is bigger than Randy Orton's 15 championship win. How is that even? The story's right there. Why would I plug in this guy? Because he main evented the last 2-3 years, so I got to plug him in. It's in his contract. What's going on?
No, I think there's more of a.
Out of the title picture.
I
doesn't
agree.
need to be in a title pick. You could have Cody versus Jacob Fatu. Now you're going to squeeze both of these clowns on SmackDown? It's ridiculous to me. It should just be a straight up one-on-one match, Cody and Jacob, and then you could get Cody chasing. John, you always preach every single week. Cody's better in chasing than holding the title.
I agree with you.
Absolutely.
He's getting better at
I agree
chasing.
with you. Jay,
Why would I put him in this
I
match?
agree with you on this. That I don't think putting him in the title picture makes sense. But I'm saying this from the perspective of WWE. I mean, we spoke about this a couple weeks ago. Ticket sales are down right now. They have to figure out something to get the people to come in. I know
That's not it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There's more meat to the story because we've been waiting for the story of Cody and Randy, especially if they turn one of them heel.
Yes, there is meat to the Cody Randy story. You know, and I think that Randy even alluded to that. Maybe he planted some seeds to this upcoming feud when he was in the ring after winning the Elimination Chamber, giving his interview when they had asked how did he feel about doing what he did to Randy, and he was like, I've known him for a lot of years, and I just had to pull the trigger. I had to pull the trigger and do it. Cody did it to get into the Elimination Chamber. I did it to win the Elimination Chamber.
And I'll go a step further. The way I see them doing it, I don't think we're getting a triple threat match. Going off of what we saw in the post show, here's where I see it playing out. I think we're getting Cody and Randy for the title. And I think we're getting Drew and Nick Aldis.
Okay, I'm going to tell you how they could save this and not get Jay pissed off. The only way they could save this is have Cody trying to go for the win. Sammy comes out, turns heel. Cody versus Sammy at WrestleMania. Then you have your Drew Randy Orton.
I don't know.
Or hold on. Or you want to talk about triple threat? Add Jacob Fatu to that. Cody and Sammy, or you can have one-on-one or a triple threat in another match.
I think I like what you mentioned first, where you have Cody and Randy. You have Cody and Drew doing their title match this Friday. We already saw a very frustrated Sami Zayn flipping tables and beating up water bottles backstage last week. Mm-hmm. So Sami comes out and costs Cody the match against Drew. Drew goes on to Mania with Randy. Sami and Cody start a little bit of a feud that's going to take them through to WrestleMania. And then if they do decide to put the belt on Randy at WrestleMania, then you can have your Cody Randy feud kick off from there, because Cody can very easily go, my last match for the championship, there was interference. And if you owe me for what you did to me in an Elimination Chamber, put the title up.
I would kind of add to what you guys are saying. What if they do Sammy and Cody no more contender?
WrestleMania?
At WrestleMania.
Never been done.
Yeah.
Winner becomes the number one contender.
Yeah, I mean, they could.
And you go a step further. I mean, like I said, I don't think this part they would do, but it would definitely be interesting. Turn around to Drew and say, stipulation is if you interfere at all, we strip you of the title.
I mean, that would work.
Right there and then.
Yeah.
Then, if God forbid he were to interfere, then we'd be guaranteed a new champion. And my thing is this: I would love for Randy to get another shot at the title. I forgot what I was listening to, and they said something about how they love Randy to beat John Cena's record.
Maybe tie it.
I mean,
maybe tie it.
That's a lot of. I don't think Randy's got that. I don't think Randy's got that much time left in him. Nor do I think he wants to have that much time.
And I think he's having fun.
I think he is having fun, but if he wins at WrestleMania, that would be his 15th. You want him to go for 18? You want him to win it 3 more times?
Nah, I would let him stop at 16.
I don't think he has that. I don't think he's got that time in him, and I don't think he would want it.
It's funny. Speaking about Randy Orton, Baby Orton's now on TV.
If you're just now tuning into NXT, Baby Orton did a pretty good number on Mr. Page.
Damn, Ethan Page is working with the best. Wow.
Who would have thought in 2026 Joe Hendry would be holding an NXT title?
I think we need to get him the hell out of there. I think tick-tock on him. He's pretty up there in age, and I think he should have been up with everybody else, with Oba and Javon and Trick.
The problem
is they're wasting his time down there, to be honest.
The issue is they wouldn't have done it for one reason. They wouldn't have done it because then they had really nobody in NXT.
They had Ricky Saints. I always said he should have won it because he could have carried that brand at least till someone steps up.
Yeah, but I think somebody like Joe Hendry brings in the casual fan. And we all know that's what WWE loves.
But the merch sales ain't there. Not there.
No,
right.
Let's shift gears here for a second.
Gear shift, please.
Want to talk about the latest inductee into the 2026
Hold on. Can we please finish our Elimination Chamber wrap-up?
Yeah, go right ahead.
We have spent 43 minutes to try to get through this, and we've only been through 2 of the matches.
Well, the other two very quickly.
The other 2 matches that we have, CM Punk defeats Finn Balor. Did anybody watch it? Was anybody surprised?
I will say
no.
I did not watch the match. It was on in the background, but we all know Punk is going to win because the bread and butter is Punk Roman at Mania. So
I will say one thing though. I loved his intro. With the
bowls. Yeah, with the old school. Yes, that was, and I believe I sent that in the chat. Like he's never had a WrestleMania level entrance, or if he did, it was only one time. That was truly a WrestleMania level entrance.
And from what I read, supposedly the guy who did it was the actual PA announcer.
Yeah, it was
from the Bulls.
They said that during the broadcast. And then finally, we've got Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee.
You know what I will say about this? I'll put it this way. I'm surprised at the finish. I'm not surprised of who won, though. And I'll say it for this reason.
Okay. Makes sense.
I'm surprised that they didn't do like we were saying last week on the show. My prediction was they were going to do like a Dusty type of finish to set up Mania, and they didn't. That's the part that surprised me. However, if Elimination Chamber would have been anywhere else in the country other than Chicago, I think Becky would have walked out of there as champion.
The more I think about it, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. Because the whole point is to have Becky AJ at Mania for a title.
Yeah.
So you're going to have Becky AJ at Mania. You're going to have AJ win again.
No, I think what you could have done.
So now with AJ having the title, you have Becky AJ at Mania, and you can have Becky get her get back and get her title back. because she hasn't beaten AJ since AJ's been back.
I see
whether it's tag team or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying on that. I'm still a believer that they could do it as a fatal 4-way. Very easily.
What is it with you and these fatal 4-ways?
Triple threats, fatal 4-ways.
Because if the story fits.
Fatal tag match.
But does it though?
Oh, absolutely it does. And this
let's have another fatal 4-way at WrestleMania. Another match.
Oh my God! If it was up to John, he'd be booking fatal 4-ways every match at Mania.
No. I'm only saying a fatal 4-way because it makes there's a story there. There's
okay, John.
Story there.
What's the story between AJ, Becky, and 2 more people?
And Raquel.
AJ, Becky, Maxine Dupree, and Natty.
Oh God! Oh no! Not Maxine Dupree. Oh no! WrestleMania is not feeling good.
By any chance, did our brandy new sponsor, Simply Green, give you any free samples whatsoever?
I can confirm nor deny.
Good God, man!
Warning.
I will put it to you this way. I said about the fatal 4-way before I got chastised by by you guys for this reason.
I'll just laugh.
And again, I'm always spitballing here. I could be totally wrong on this. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to eat crow on this.
They're not doing a fatal 4-way for the IC title.
I thought we were wrapping up Elimination Chamber. Now we're definitely off the rails. We're definitely off the rails.
Is that a show?
And Seth Rollins returned at Elimination Chamber. There we go. That's the wrap up.
There you go.
Real quick, out of 5 stars, what do you give Elimination Chamber? I give Elimination Chamber 2, and that's being generous.
I agree with Ray.
Yeah, I would agree as well.
All right. So we can all agree that the Elimination Chamber was the drizzling, predictable shits.
Yes.
Moving on. John, you're talking about Hall of Fame. Who's in it?
It was announced yesterday, actually. Jordan AJ Styles and Stephanie McMahon. This is your 3-time WWF Tag Team Champions. The guys who I think should have been in years ago, and it's long overdue.
Long overdue.
Axe and Smash Demolition.
Wow.
The Axe and the Smasher.
Huge.
Bill Eadie and Barry Darsow.
Congratulations.
Okay. I'm gonna put you guys on the spot right now. What were Barry Darsow's other 2 big gimmicks he had?
The Repo Man.
I don't know the other one.
And the one at WCW where he did the fucking blacktop street fight match with Dustin Rhodes. What was his name?
I would say when he was Crusher Khrushchev in NWA.
Oh, yeah, there's Crusher Khrushchev too.
But yeah, Repo Man is finally...
The blacktop bully. That's what he was.
Yep. I'm going to say this. Long overdue. I completely agree.
Absolutely. We can all agree.
I will say this, though. One of the best entrance songs.
100%.
Now, here's the $1 million question. We've spoken about this last couple of weeks. We spoke about it when Stephanie got inducted, when the news came out about Stephanie, and the news came out about AJ. Who inducts Demolition?
Hard.
Is Mr. Fuji alive still?
Passed away.
He passed away. Okay, because I would have said
that would have been number 1 because he replaced what's that guy Johnny? Johnny V.
Johnny Valiant. Yeah.
Yeah. He
Replaced
him in '87.
Yep.
That would have been a good choice for Mr. Fuji for sure.
I think that maybe if Slick is around, you have Slick do. I think Slick's still alive. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's still alive.
That one I don't know.
I think you would have Slick do it or you would have Haku.
Haku? I didn't think about that. What do you think, Jordan?
This is a tough one because you can go. This is another one you can go different. If you want to go tag teams, shit. There's so many different names you can put in there.
Trying to think, but
Yeah, that is a tough one.
That's a tough one. I'm thinking of like the old school guys that are already in the Hall of Fame, but I just can't picture them with Demolition. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless Taker does it because he did the phone call. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of.
Well, Taker's become the gatekeeper for the whole
Right.
thing.
Yeah. He's like, what's his name for the
Probably the
NFL
president.
Hall of Fame?
Okay, but now I'll ask you this now. Obviously, we know what Stephanie's going to be Hunter, more than likely.
Well, we know it ain't gonna be Linda.
Well, here's my question now:
Pretty cool.
who's going
She
to be
got
for
booed
Styles?
off stage.
Could it be? I mean, I think it could be Undertaker. I know from
I think
reports
that would be the logic choice.
looking at-
John. You want Undertaker to induct everybody, and you want fatal four ways for every match ever in existence.
I'm not saying to have Taker induct Demolition.
What are you saying?
I'm saying to have Taker.
No, he wants Taker to induct Stephanie.
No, Styles.
You
Style?
were just talking about Stephanie.
No, I said Stephanie was going to be inducted by Hunter.
I don't know if I heard that like that, but
And then we were talking about Linda, and then he goes, Undertaker.
why do they just? Why does the Strike Force does it?
Bro.
Strike Force should just induct Demolition.
Both of them are still alive.
I know.
Tito and Rick Martel.
Yeah.
Hey, and where's the Hall of Fame for Strike Force?
Doesn't exist.
What the hell?
Strike Force sounds okay, but I don't know if I'll do it. Strike Force.
So for
let's go
Demolition,
here. Actually,
for Demolition, I would like to see both members of Strike Force or either one.
That'd be awesome.
David Reynolds says Mike Jackson pulled a suicide dive on Mance Warner at fucking 76 years old. The man is an absolute legend. And did you see the form on that suicide dive?
yes.
It was. Navarre says John Cena in the WWE Hall of Fame.
It's gonna be a while.
Costa says Elimination Chamber was terrible. I actually cannot believe Randy Orton won the men's EC. Randy Orton was the only one that made sense. Sorry. Do you guys think Aldis and Drew will face off? I don't.
I do.
I
don't. Because going by that logic and applying it to Raw, that means that Braun Breaker and Adam Pearce should have faced off. Because that's all that they're recreating because they lost Braun. They're just taking that dynamic and throwing it on SmackDown. David says, shout out to a former OG host of the show, Costa in the comments.
Costa.
And Navarre says John Cena should be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Good. Like Hollywood.
Okay. Whew. We got all that taken care of. Now, are we going to talk about Raw last night, gentlemen?
Well, actually, you know what we're going to do?
Yeah.
We're going to go to another break.
This guy and his fucking breaks.
And the Fatal 4-Way.
And the Fatal 4-Way, hosted by The Undertaker.
Guys, we're going to go to a quick break. Coming up from the break, we're going to talk about what we saw last night on Monday Night Raw. And
Girls.
a little bit of AEW as
Girls
they
in cars.
coming up in a couple of weeks. Guys, we're going to go now, not going to go to our sponsor, Simply Green. We're going to go to an event happening in Florida the end of April called Wrestling Against Cancer. Here we go, guys.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents Wrestling Against Cancer 11. Come see Nikita Koloff, women's matches, Cali Man, Nelson Iser, Kelly Clark, and more. Wrestling Against Cancer at Bay Haven Charter Academy, Saturday, April 25th. Front row tickets $20, second row $15. General admission just $12. Kids 5 and under free. Doors open at 5. Bell time 6:30. Proceeds go to Pam Clements Medical Expenses.
Definitely go check out Wrestling Against Cancer.
Absolutely. Such a good cause. Run by such a beautiful man.
Yes.
We can't, friend of the show, can't say enough nice things about him. This is his baby, and everything that we can do to promote it, to get more faces, eyes, ears on there. And it is a fundraiser, so I am going to say more money out in there goes to a good cause. Fuck cancer. With that being said, are we doing Monday Night Raw or are we doing AEW Revolution?
No, we can talk about Monday Night Raw for a few minutes. Monday
Night Raw. I thought Monday Night Raw was pretty entertaining. We talked about the Danhausen skit, but can we talk about how Raw opened up last night? I had shades of the Attitude Era.
I was just about to say that.
It was like I was having Attitude Era flashbacks. It was fantastic. It was cultivated chaos.
And first of all, I love that they finally given LA Knight the opportunity to do something.
Yep. Little, I feel like that was a little Stone Cold tribute right there. Driving the ambulance.
I'll say this much, everything. Also, when did Logan Paul know more than the doctors that he pushed him away?
Yeah, I don't know.
And also,
anybody touches Binky? I don't know.
And also, mind you, if you get pulled out in an ambulance, and mind you, I can say this from my own experience, I've been in an ambulance before. Why were they checking his ankles?
Pulse. It's called the radial pulse.
Oh, because I noticed that all of a sudden.
Because he had, didn't they have him in a collar?
I don't remember, because all I know is he was bleeding out his nose, and they're checking to make sure his feet are correct.
Yeah, you're checking the radial pulse in the ankle. So Navarre says Dominic lost the title last night, and we will get to that. So we have we saw that. We saw how Seth used the masked men to his advantage to lure the two whopping remaining members of the Vision out of the ring, to leave Paul Heyman alone, and the poetic justice of Seth Rollins creeping up behind Paul Heyman and just whacking him in the back with a chair in the same building that he did to Roman to break up the Shield was amazing. And that's all I have to say about that.
The opening, Ray, to kind of piggyback, was done beautifully. You didn't know what to expect. And honestly, looking at this coming out of last night, I'm now more intrigued in the Vision storyline. Now.
Yeah, and all it took was for Seth Rollins to come back.
Yeah, that's the funny part. Is before Rollins came back, I felt like the Vision. What is it? The Vision or Vision? What is it? The Vision. Right?
The Vision.
To me, they were coming off very much like, I wouldn't sit there and say, I don't know how I would describe them before last night. But
flat.
What happened?
Flat.
Yeah. I think now
Tabletop.
They finally have something, to say the least.
They actually have some meat and they got something to run with. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Also, the Visionaries was a lesser known name that the tag team Power and Glory of Paul Roma and the mighty Hercules Hernandez went by. The Doctor of Style, Slick, was their manager, and he would always call them the Visionaries.
And it's funny, that whole opening segment to me, not only had Attitude Era written all over it, but had Paul Heyman's name.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And David brings up another point that we were going to hit on. Heyman took that stomp like a champ. I did not notice Heyman's hands going down at all. I think he took that like full on, unprotected.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing also. Paul Heyman is not in bodybuilder shape, or he's not a in-ring wrestler.
No, never has been.
And he took it. I mean, it was amazing. That whole
It was.
segment. Also, what I like in the beginning, unless I missed it, they never even played their intro music.
No, because Paul, it was a hot open or a cold open. Sorry, it was just a cold open.
But I like that though. That to me was done
Mm-hmm.
perfectly. You couldn't. I don't think you could have written that opening segment any better.
Yep. We saw Gunther versus Dragon Lee. I thought Dragon Lee had a fantastic showing against Gunther. I don't know how I feel about the unmasking. Like, does this mean that we're gonna see is it gonna lead to Dragon Lee no longer being masked, which to me is
I think it's just more Gunther's character of cheat to win.
yeah, I would think so. I would think so.
Yeah, I think
You know?
it's cheat to win.
It's kind of
But it was a great match, though. It was a great match.
It was. I mean,
I was in it. I was invested. I was in.
yeah, I didn't think I was going to be as captivated by that match as I was.
Yeah, I didn't.
I knew it was going to be a good match. I just didn't think it was going to be like have me in it like that match did. So we're going to touch on Navarre, what Navarre had said earlier in the night. Penta versus Dominic Mysterio after Dominic has been cursed. Hausen.
It's a lot. I'm gonna start off with this. Danhausen had a very bad showing at Elimination Chamber. But
Oh my god, it was so bad.
I don't blame him. I know I didn't touch up to it because I was in Borderland World and stuff, but I truly think it's WWE based off the fact of the crate, and they used it every single week. So I think that's why fans were just booing. It's like, hey, you hype this up, and this is what we get. But fast forward, I think they made it up perfectly. Danhausen got the cheers, which he had that on Saturday night. Indianapolis loved him. The way he was presented to me Saturday is like a major character in a movie, you could say.
Yeah.
And I think the segment with him and Judgment Day kind of bounced him back from Saturday's debut. And I'm very excited to see what's going on, what happened with him. And going into the match, I enjoyed this match too. It wasn't a great match to me. It was a good match, but I enjoyed it. I even enjoyed the scuffle between Dom and the Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was a great match. It also not only does that to Penta, building him as the IC champ. Now he's going to get more over. But it also builds Danhausen's character. Let's face it, because Saturday it wasn't there. And I think in order to prove that point of how we're going to take this guy seriously, we're going to have Dom drop the IC title. And I think that's what they needed to do. I think it was the right book.
I think that this is going to cause a Dominic Danhausen feud, which I don't think I'd be opposed to. Maybe it'll lead to Mania or through Mania. We don't know. Because Dominic you can start to see Dominic unravel a little bit. He was cursed by Danhausen. He loses the title. Judgment Day starts to break up. Danhausen really cursed him. So there's that option. I think that they have a lot I think they have a lot they could flesh out of that story if that's the direction they decide to go in. Regarding Danhausen's Saturday debut, I actually agree with you, and I think that the onus of how terrible that went should be on WWE. WWE in the lead up to the casket opening, they could have done some dark, mysterious vignettes to kind of get you interested in the case instead of just showing it every week. Have a random backstage segment in front of it. Hey, what's that? I don't know. It says don't open till Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, but it's funny. One thing I will say though, with Danhausen, I loved how when he turned on to Pierce at the beginning of that segment, and he goes, "Oh yes,
Stone Cold."
No. When he showed up and he goes, "Yeah, I showed up on Saturday to a thunderous applause."
Yeah.
I think
that is true.
When it comes to Danhausen, people have to realize the same thing like with R-Truth. You can't take him seriously. And it's funny.
Which is, again, goes back to my previous point I made earlier in the show. You can't take R-Truth seriously. You can't take Danhausen seriously. But these are serious wrestlers. Ron the Truth Killings is like a 3-time NWA champion.
But I'll go a step further, though. I'm going to compare two companies here for a second. You can see where I'm going with this. WWE is World Wrestling Entertainment. The last word is entertainment.
Okay, Vince, you can stop with your argument. We know where you're going with this. It's the same fucking line that Vince would always regurgitate to anybody that, had the criticized his fucking booking and bullshit. We're in entertainment. Yeah, no shit. That's why we're fucking watching.
Yeah.
God. Stop with that. Stop.
Well, it definitely bounced back Danhausen, though. I think Monday Night Raw definitely bounced Danhausen back into people's eyes.
Yeah, I think it now gave people something to
laugh about,
see, right? Because now you want to see where this Dominic Danhausen thing is going to go. Costa comments and says, actually, the person who made sense to win the chamber wasn't even in the chamber. Jacob Fatu.
Yep. And they could go that route, which I think will be an entertaining match, but the writing's on the wall. I think they should go Finn and Dom.
I think you're going to see Finn versus his best friend first before you see Finn and Dom.
Yeah, I see it.
Especially with Dom kind of being the defunct leader of the Judgment Day. Like for some reason, like that dynamic just shifted without anybody really doing anything, where Dom became the leader and Finn just kind of.
I get it. It's just that I can't see WWE taking Finn out of WrestleMania. I can't see it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't.
Oh, it makes sense, but then to me it doesn't make sense because I gotta have Finn on the card.
Right.
It's gonna be very interesting. I think when it's all said and done. I mean, I like Monday Raw, but I think everybody's eyes this week, wrestling wise, is gonna be on Friday with SmackDown.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Raw closed out. This close matched the opening in the exact opposite energy, but in a good way. Right? Where in the opening you had that cultivated chaos, and to close out the show, it wasn't chaos. It was very calm, and it was, very to the point. You had the promo between Roman and Punk, where they're starting to take the gloves off in their promos and taking the training wheels off. They're getting into some serious shit. Roman telling Punk that he's going to put his ass on that first off, tells Punk that nobody backstage likes him and nobody is happy to see him. And that he had to come back to WWE to get his money. And when Roman's done beating him, he's going to put him on a John Cena farewell tour. And then kick him down to NXT to train people to feed up to Roman.
I like that line. The other line I like, and it did what it was supposed to, was when Punk turned around to Roman and said, "I'm going to bury you next to your father."
And that was the line that closed the show. And the best part of that was Roman's reaction. It wasn't like a big reaction, right? It was a small reaction. You see him mumbling to himself. He's like, "Did this motherfucker just say that? I'm going to fucking kill him."
Now I'm curious to see next week. Now I'm hoping we don't get them every week in promo segments.
Right.
No, because,
I would say this: the next time the two of them are in the ring, I know it's gonna get some people questioning me.
No, I think you're right. The next time that we see them in the ring together should be at Mania.
Well, I'll go a step further. He brought up Roman's father. I think Roman's come back very easy. Larry.
Oh,
I'll even go a step further.
oh.
Jay hated the whole segment. Jay didn't like any of it.
Raise your hand if you're
Really
surprised.
why? But I didn't find it riveting. I didn't find it moving. I found it as a bunch of guys just basically trying to get cuss words and taking shots. But
Let me ask you this:
I heard this already.
before last night, did you have any interest at all in Punk and Roman?
I do, but last night didn't get me more invested. I thought it was a weak layup. Because you're taking shots, you're cussing, you're talking about age, you're talking about, which makes no sense to me what Punk said. I don't know if he was in Borderland with me earlier in the show. Maybe he was, but he's talking about, I don't hold grudges and I don't pay attention to any of that. Stupid. This is a grudge match. Are you like living in a world where wrestling is not that? So I was just completely at a loss, guys. And Roman's promo, I'm gonna be honest, it was weak. If you had to compare what he said the last time he came on and this, I don't think it was a really strong promo by Roman. Not saying it was bad. I didn't like it, but I know you guys liked it, but I don't think it was a good follow-up. I think it was a missed layup. I think these guys are just repeating the same thing and just twisting the narrative and making you think it's cool. Oh, my father's dead. I get all that, but so now I'm going to get invested because you took a shot at his dad.
I mean, it's wrestling psychology 101.
Well, exactly.
Jay, let me ask you this now.
Grudges.
Hold on, Jay. We asked this question last week, and we said, we wanted an answer this week.
I think I answered it, but
no. Coming off of Elimination Chamber,
I did answer it.
Are you more interested in WrestleMania?
I said no earlier, but I am going to watch WrestleMania because that's our duty. Salute.
Okay. I'll tell you right now, with what we saw last night between Roman and Punk,
yes, sir.
I'm more invested now than I was last week. Because now,
okay, all right, pause.
No, I just want to say one thing and I'll let you guys talk. You see, it's hard for you to take that because I know how deep of a wrestling fan you are, just like me. But you're using the word more invested. I don't think that's the right adjective to go with it. I think if you say invested, you got me. But you're saying you're like, to me, it sounds like you're all in. I'm more invested now because of what I heard. And I don't think it was, that promo wasn't that. I don't
because
think
now there's something there. There's a story. I'll put it as a fan, Jay, hold on, I'll say this right. As a fan, I'm more invested now in seeing that we know damn well come Vegas, when we get to Vegas in a couple of weeks, and those two guys get in the ring on that Sunday night in the main event, that's not going to be a wrestling match. It's not going to be your 5-star classic. How many Asiato moonsaults? How many super kicks are we going to see? No, you're going to have two guys who are going to go at each other, with more of the words, and are going to both probably get a receipt at Mania. And now there's a story there to what that Roman hates Punk.
Well, we knew that Roman hates Punk. We didn't need that reiterated. However, I think the taking and telling him that he's going to bury him next to his father, that there's a visceral reaction. If you've ever lost anybody, there's a visceral reaction to statements like that, whether it's in a movie, whether it's in a TV show, whether it's in the wrestling ring. So I think that was what they were hoping for. That was kind of the hook that got people more invested. Now, John says he's more invested, but John, I have this question for you.
Yeah.
Are you more invested in WrestleMania or are you more invested in the Punk Roman match?
Honestly, I'm more invested in WrestleMania overall.
I think you're full of shit.
No, I'll be honest. Because I still think
Go forward.
With Undertaker.
You gotta be
I
excited.
still think we talked about this before. I still think we're getting Cody and Randy.
Okay.
I think we're getting Drew and Nick Aldis.
I don't think you're getting. Why does everybody wanted Adam Pearce to wrestle? Now everybody wants Nick Aldis to wrestle. Why can't our former wrestling GMs just be fucking GMs?
Why does everybody so badly want to see Nick Aldis wrestle? I'm sorry. I love the guy, but Nick Aldis versus Drew at WrestleMania?
Oh, that has
That's
Okay, all right. So John,
that's gonna put butts to seats.
John, listen to me. So Drew beats your authority figure for the show that he's on. What does that do to the authority figure?
Who's
Destroys them, because how are you going to tell a man that just whipped your ass 6 days ago anything?
And who's Drew's going to win?
I got this. So you want Nick Aldis to fight Drew McIntyre, knowing that a GM cannot touch a wrestler. So that means that Nick Aldis may have to resign in order to face Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania.
I'm going to say this.
Which then would have Nick Aldis on the SmackDown roster for what? What other than the feud with Drew that he's got right now? What direction are you going with Nick Aldis in? Are you going to put a title on him?
No, I didn't say you got to put a title on him. I could see the scenario playing out. God, I can't see him.
Okay. What's the next cards? What you got for WrestleMania? You said Drew and Aldis, Punk and Roman.
No, it's gonna be a fatal 4-way. Drew, Aldis, Pierce, Danhausen. Undertaker will be presenting.
Switching gears to AEW now.
My point is this.
John.
You could have Nick Aldis resign as the general manager.
You serious?
If you have to go that route, you can.
You have to. We've seen it with Pierce and Braun.
I said this before. You turn around and give me Nick Aldis, Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, I would be invested in that. Because I think Drew would carry, even though Nick is a phenomenal wrestler, I'm not taking that away from him. The guy is one of the longest rated NWA champions.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Nick Aldis actually carries SmackDown. For me to see him resign, it's like really difficult for me to see it like that. He's everywhere on SmackDown. And now that it's 3 hours, yeah.
Ugh.
These need to be a lot more than what he was. So it's hard.
Oh my God, they're such a slog.
Yeah, it's hard for me to not.
Do you know how many times I dozed off during last week's SmackDown? And it had nothing to do, I don't think it had really anything to do with the product. It was just stuff that I wasn't interested in. It had more to do with the fact that, Friday was a long day, but still it's a long, I'm not the only person that had a long day on Friday. And now you want them to sit down and try to watch your product for 3 hours? I'm going like this by like 9:30.
Yes, honey. Yes.
I'm
up.
I didn't do. Did you just fall asleep? No, I didn't. Did you just?
So, John, your whole point is you're more invested because this promo got you more invested.
Not just the
How did that promo get you more invested in the other matches of WrestleMania?
Well, if I can finish my
go ahead.
Here,
it's all yours.
Go to the end of when we start the chamber in the post show.
Okay.
And Nick Aldis and Drew McIntyre started going at it. You told me you wouldn't be more invested seeing those two go at it after what we saw during the post show.
No, that's not that wasn't my question, John. My question was, what about the promo got you more invested in WrestleMania as a whole. Drew and Nick Aldis is not a thing going into WrestleMania right now. Could it be a thing? Maybe, if everybody listens to John and then puts Adam Pearce and Danhausen on the other side with Undertaker in the middle, you know. But forget about the Drew Aldis, because that has nothing to do with WrestleMania as of yet. What about the promo got you more invested in the event as a whole?
Because it finally showed we're finally on the road to WrestleMania.
That's all you have to say.
That's the reason?
Yeah. Because now you don't have to worry about any more PLEs now between now and when we get to Vegas in April. Now it's 100%, but all gas, no brakes.
Okay, so let me ask you. Do you think WWE, from what you saw last night, do you think they're on a right track of building good matches for you to get invested for WrestleMania? Do you think they're doing the perfect job on everything? On everything.
I think coming out of last night, yes. I'll hold full judgment on that to see what they do on Friday. I'm taking it one step at a time.
I'm still curious at whose group they're gonna fight. Like, that's scratching my head bigger than anything.
Take Danhausen out, put Gunther in.
Oh God.
Adam Pearce, Gunther, Nick Aldis, Drew, Undertaker in the middle.
We're going to go to a quick commercial break. We're going to hear from our friends over at Simply Green. We'll be right back. Talking some AEW. You are listening to the Round Radio Show. We'll be right back right after this.
At Simply Green, we believe in the power of nature to bring balance, relaxation, and well-being. As a premium THC brand, our mission is to provide high-quality, responsibly sourced products that enhance your lifestyle. Whether you're seeking relaxation, creativity, or wellness support, we curate a selection of top-tier THC to suit your needs. Rooted in trust and transparency, we are committed to delivering safe, lab-tested products while fostering a community that embraces education and responsible use. Simply Green is more than just a brand. It's a movement for a greener, more mindful future. Call 631-846-6060 to order or visit our location in Coram, New York. For use only by adults 21 years of age and older. Keep out of reach of children and pets. Please consume responsibly. Cannabis is not recommended for use by persons who are pregnant or nursing. Concerned about your cannabis use? Contact the New York State HOP line by texting HOPE-NY, calling 1-877-8, HOPE-NY, or visiting oasisny.gov/HOPE.
And we are back here live on the Round Radio Show. Now, guys, hopefully you guys have been enjoying the show tonight. If you missed any part of tonight's show, go back to our YouTube page and go back to our Facebook page, and you will get them there. Also, guys, if you got any of your podcast stores, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, go check us out there. I know I haven't uploaded episodes in a while, but in the next couple of weeks, we're going to start having those come back in, so there won't be any way you can't miss us at all. Now we've got AEW to talk about.
The road to Revolution.
Yeah.
Let's go over the match card of what we know so far.
Yeah.
For Revolution, of course. Revolution is going to be held on Sunday, March 15th, 2026 at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California, formerly known as the Stables Arena. It will always be the Stables Arena to me because fuck Crypto.com. Confirmed matches so far. In Texas Death Match, we've got MJF, your champion, squaring off against the Hangman Adam Page. There is a stipulation, however, if Hangman loses, he can never challenge for the AEW World title again. And that's a very funny stipulation because a lot of things start flowing around your head and you're trying to push Cody out of the history books, being Cody the only person that ever lost that stipulation. Secondly, are you preparing the AEW crowd for a life without Hangman Adam Page while he goes up north, maybe. You know, because you saw what happened to the last person that couldn't challenge for a world title and booked themselves into a corner that way. Bye-bye. He's up north. So what are your gentlemen's thoughts on that?
Jay, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'm going to say that AEW did really good booking into this match. I thought every segment they did on Dynamite was perfect. I don't like this stipulation. It reminds me of Cody when I heard about it.
He even referenced Cody in the promo.
Yeah.
No, he said there's only one other person that ever fought in this match with this stipulation, and we know how that turned out.
You know, I just don't see him losing, guys. I mean, you don't want one of your top AEW stars never to challenge for the title again. And I don't know if I like it because it also hurts MJF, even though it doesn't really hurt him. Let's face it, he's bigger than anything. But you're also taking the title away from him that fast. It's like, I don't know how to really feel about that.
Well, Ray, I want to ask you this now. Do you think there's a way with this match that they can do some sort of finish where Hangman doesn't, where that stipulation may not have to come into play for Hangman?
I mean, the only way that really happens is because it's a Texas death match. If they take a severe bump and it incapacitates both of them for a 10 count. Now, my rebuttal to that is that really how you want to end your show?
It's a big show too. Revolution.
Yeah, one of your original shows?
Yeah, it's a big show.
I just want to mention one quick thing before we get back into the AEW talk. They just had an ad for WrestleMania on NXT.
Yep.
And for the first time, the first hour of night 1 will be live on ESPN 2.
Yep.
And night 2, the first hour, will be live on ESPN.
You're flying there, though, right? You're going?
Absolutely not.
But you're more invested, bro. You say you're more invested.
Vegas once, I'm happy.
But what do you thought about it, John? What do you think about this stipulation?
I actually agree with you. I don't like it. Because Hangman to me, like MJF, but Hangman to me is very much part of the future of this company. He's one of the original guys.
If you could keep him in the, I know he says no, I would never. I'm a pillar, one of the starting starting members of the roster. Blah, 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 blah. Are you still gonna feel that way if you get offered a 6 or 7 figure contract?
Oh no, you're gonna go where the money is.
In this business that they participate in, that is the only way to think.
Yeah, no, that I will agree on. To me, this is a very. I don't think this. Well, first, I think when MJF finally drops the belt, as what everybody else has been saying, all in August to Will Ospreay.
I don't know.
That would be probably the only time right now that I don't think people would complain about, is if that's the way they do it. As far as with this, I mean, I don't know. There's so many ways you can go with this. My other thing though is this, with having Heyman never challenging for the title again, and he's an original.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I don't like. It's almost like you're kind of foreshadowing that we don't have faith in him. Because think about this, now his second run with the belt.
He was not a fan of his first run.
He didn't really get that much time with the second run either.
I didn't like his first run because of the booking. It was just crap.
I'll put it this way. I didn't like his second run for one reason. Because when he beat the Death Riders at, was it All In last year? In Texas?
Yeah, Texas.
The Death Riders should have been off of TV then.
You thought they should have been completely dismantled.
I'm not saying dismantle, but take them off TV for a couple weeks.
Nah, they can't.
So one person from Death Riders loses. Let's take the whole group off TV.
Well, okay, maybe not the whole group, but I would definitely say Moxley.
How? He's the leader. He has to show up. Yes, I
really have an issue with how they handled the Death Riders after MJF beat them.
And Claudio doesn't really have that mic skill to get me invested every week.
Because if he did, he'd still be in WWE getting paid buckets of money. The talent, the physique, what that man can do in the ring, if he could put together mic skills with all of that, that would have been your new face.
Well, do you guys think it's his fault? I mean, come on, let's face it. He's been in the best farming system that you could possibly get. Do you think it just falls on certain wrestlers not stepping up their game, even though they may do the little things, but they're not doing it to their full potential?
Well, yeah, that's why I said if he was able to put the mic skills,
I just don't
in there all together, he would be the perfect package.
Like, how would you? That's what like puzzles me. Like, how do you even not try or get 100% when somebody's telling you how to do it?
It takes a different type of personality.
Sometimes you gotta let it out, man. I mean, we've seen it with the New Day, right? Remember the New Day when they came up? They were supposed to be a heel group with the preacher and singing in the background. They let their personalities show because they took a chance, and they said that on
that's the thing. That's part of all of their personalities. I just don't think that's part of Claudio's personality, which is a shame because when he was streaming and I saw him, when he was playing League of Legends, it was weird. Maybe because he was more comfortable. He knew it was a much smaller scale. But he was engaging. He was good with interacting with his fans in the stream chat. So I just don't think that in front of massive crowds like that he has it. And I don't think that has anything to do with skill. That's more of a personality trait than anything else.
I think they should have used his strength as his personality and showcase it like they did with Mark Henry.
Mark Henry could also talk, though.
Yeah.
But he didn't say much at first, right?
That is
He
true.
got away with it? Whoa, where?
All right, so the next match we have up on the card that is confirmed, FTR versus the Young Bucks. You literally have no flips, just fists versus only flips, no fists.
I'm not investing in the match because I think we've seen it too many times. And I don't think we'll ever get a definitive winner. I'm sorry. Young Bucks are VPs over there. I can't take their matches they have earlier seriously. Like, I can't do it. So it's going to be an exciting match because I think the Young Bucks are on fire right now for Tag Team of the Year once again by Jay. But I'm not invested in the match. I got FTR winning.
I think to me, this is good. What we're seeing right now with FTR and the Young Bucks, this could be the story that never ends. This is going to be the story that never ends. And you look at the tag team division now of AEW. It's not.
Are you saying this is the New Age Rock and Roll Express Midnight Express?
Yeah, I can see that. And I think with these guys, there's always be that story there. There's always be that story of which team to be the best team. And I think you look at the rest of the tag team division right now. I mean, yeah, Private Party finally showed up again after they've been, at the party for last year.
In the after party.
You have
After party, it's the after party.
1 year.
You have Jet Speed. I mean, they're okay.
I like Jet Speed because I feel like there's so much more there than what we're seeing.
Yeah, no, that I'm trying to think of who else you have. Don't you have the conglomerate?
Conglomerate?
The conglomeration?
Yeah, that one.
That was a little tricky because that's like not a definitive. I mean, as far as I'm aware, that's not like a definitive tag team. It's not like you have Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe tag teaming, week in and week out like they're a legitimate tag team.
I think everybody else in the freaking Don Callis family. Oh wait, I know. I'm sorry. I call it the NWO of 2026.
Yeah. Listen, if they put Lance Archer with Mark Davis as the tag team for the Callis family, that would be pretty legit.
It's funny though. Talk about that. I like the pairing of Mark Davis and Jake Doyle.
They were great.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right.
I
forgot. Yes, no, that's even better.
Yeah, but isn't he injured right now?
He's injured.
Doyle.
Yeah, he's injured. He's out for like 8-9 months.
When did that happen?
Right at the
tag match was on Dynamite. It was a few weeks back.
So, like right after he debuted?
I think he tore his pec or something.
Yeah, it's the Wardlow injury.
Wardlow injury.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to talk about somebody else who, if used properly, could be something. Look at Wardlow.
Yeah.
That's bad. I feel
Same
bad.
thing. But here's the funny thing. What the guys we're talking about with Archer, Brian Cage. You notice a trend how Tony Khan does not like using the big men at all.
I don't know if it's a trend.
Well, no, because I was going to say, what about Big Bill? But yeah, Big Bill hasn't been used.
I think a lot of teams
is on Ring of Honor.
Huh?
Big Bill 9 times out of 10 is on Ring of Honor,
right?
Or he's on
Which I feel like they're treating Ring of Honor just as main event, their version of main event.
I will go a step further. They look at it as it's like AEW Dark all over again.
Yes,
you could. I think we forgot about the Hurt Business.
Oh yeah,
I think the Hurt Business forgot about the Hurt Business.
I think the Hurt Business.
They're still signed. Yeah, I think Bobby's hurt, but
I think Shelton's been doing a lot of individual work, so made me think that Bobby was.
And then also,
Bobby's hurt.
Technically, you have Colton and Austin.
I got the Acclaim too. If I put them back together,
I have a feeling. Given time, I think they're going to be reunited. Give it time.
They're going to have to be because it's going to be one of those things where they're guys, they cutting it solo. So here, go back together.
The way Tony Khan books things, that he just book tag teams that are hot, and once they lose their 15 minutes of fame, it's pretty much over.
I feel like
look what he did to Private Party.
Look what he did with the Acclaim. The Acclaim was hot, and I mean hot at one point.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that 100%.
Now what?
In some cases, bigger pops for the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass than the champion at the time. All right, moving on from the tag team competition, we've got the AEW Continental Championship no time limit match. Your Continental Champion Jon Moxley of the Death Riders versus Konosuke Takeshita of the Don Callis family. And it is no time limit because the last two times that they have fought, they have taken two really good matches to a time limit draw. I like this match. I think this is going to be a solid I don't expect it to be a 60-man iron match, Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair. But I do think that Takeshita is Moxley's Steamboat, and I think you're going to be there. You're going to be in for a good 20, 25 minutes of some solid wrestling and great performance by both of them.
Yeah, they both work well together. We saw it in the last match they had. I enjoyed that match. I was very invested in this one. And I think they bring the best out of each other, and it should be a classic. If you had me deciding who go over, it's a really tough call. Could go either way, to be honest. But I think if you want to build that storyline with the Death Riders and Don Callis, got to give it to Don Callis. I like John's quote where he always says, sometimes it's better to chase than holding the title. I think Moxley's way better at chasing.
I do like the Death Riders in the chase when they're that visceral, vicious, hungry group.
Yeah, and that's what they're about. And
Yeah.
I think you need to really rebuild that. And I think that would be the only way, because this storyline they've been building for weeks could actually go somewhere.
No, you're absolutely right. And I just want everybody to, if you're not already tuned in while you're listening to us, find on your streaming platform of choice, whichever one you want to use, tonight's episode of NXT and watch the Zarya JC Jane match. I've been watching it out of the corner of my eye since it started. You want to talk about a solid, hard-hitting match. And I don't mean just like hard-hitting for women. I mean like solid, hard-hitting match. It's good. I've been entertained. I'm definitely going to go back and watch it with the sound on.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to,
I'm definitely
show a light on that.
I will just say this much: the way this match, and I'm not going to give away the ending, but I think we're getting a triple threat match.
You sure it's not going a full way?
No. I'm being funny.
He said, "I don't want to ruin this, but
Oh,
I get a triple threat."
I already had a feeling that Soul was going to jump in somewhere because it only makes sense after how Zarya destroyed her when she was facing JC last week.
Do you feel like Zarya's stock is still down a little bit, or you think this is actually helping her?
I think this is going to be the storyline or the feud that pulls her back up.
Because let's face it, Soul definitely has to come up after Stand and Deliver. I just want to know if Zarya can handle her own in NXT.
Well, after this match, I mean, match-wise, it's looking like yes, but I think John's right. This is going to introduce Soul into the title picture. And then this is where we get to see Zarya, like you said, Jay, stand on her own.
Hope so.
Well, I got a possible theory for this one. I'll say it right after this break. Guys, we're going to hit a quick word from our friends over at Wrestling Against Cancer. We'll be right back with my theory for the eventual possible triple threat match happening. We'll be right back right after this.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents Wrestling Against Cancer 11. Come see Nikita Koloff, women's matches, Cali Man, Nelson Iser, Kelly Clark, and more. Wrestling Against Cancer at Bay Haven Charter Academy, Saturday, April 25th. Front row tickets $20, second row $15. General admission just $12. Kids 5 and under free. Doors open at 5. Bell time 6:30. Proceeds go to Pam Clements Medical Expenses.
And we're back here live on the Randall's Radio Show, guys. We have about 15 minutes left before we wrap up for tonight's show. We were talking about what we just saw in the Solbrook interfered in the
Pause. Put a pin in that. Let's finish up the AEW. There's only like one more match that we know of for sure.
Okay.
Andre El Idolo versus Bandito. I think that's going to be a great AAA Lucha Libre style match. Don't really care who wins that one. But since we have Don Callis family winning like once or twice already in this pay-per-view so far, I'm going to go with Bandito. And it looks like they're teasing a Swerve Strickland versus Brody King match, which that could also be pretty interesting.
Okay.
But yes, John, please go back to what we were just talking about on NXT with Soul, Zarya, and JC Jane.
If I was booking it, triple threat match, NXT Vengeance Day.
I think that's what they're working towards.
You have Soul win the title off of JC. JC then goes up to the main roster. You have Soul and Zarya feud for the title, go and stand and deliver. Soul drops the belt to Zarya. Soul then gets called up to the main roster after Mania.
I don't really see anything wrong with that. I don't see a hole in it. It all makes sense. It all meshes well. It includes what's going on right now. Yeah, I co-sign on that.
Not only that, you give Soul that couple of weeks run with the belt.
Yep.
You put meat to the bone with Zarya and Sol Ruka. And I mean, the one thing I will say that with NXT, I mean, we saw it back in the day. The one thing they do very good at is the former friends turn into bitter enemies. We saw that with
it's almost like it's produced by somebody who was in a very big storyline like that, like an iconic storyline.
Yeah.
Like I would say earth-shattering, but it's more glass-shattering storyline.
What I was going to say is this. You give Zarya and Soul the title, unless you have something big for Joe Hendry going to Stand and Deliver, from a fan investment perspective, that's what you close out Stand and Deliver with. Zoruka and Zarya. Because not only is it for the title, the fans are going to be invested in it because of the fact that they were former friends and now turned into bitter enemies. Case in point, look what we ciampa a number of years ago with Ciampa and Gargano. I mean, you want to talk about classics. That was even bigger than the feud those guys had.
Right. No, it was. And I mean, that last man standing match, brutal.
And then the quote unquote, the closing picture is Zarya with the title over her hand, raised up, and then Soul gets called up to the main roster. One of the WrestleMania call-ups after WrestleMania. But yeah, we also got we've been talking about NXT Vengeance and a couple of interesting matches.
What we got?
Looks like we got NXT Underground with Lola Vice and Kalani Jordan.
Again?
I saw something with Izzy Dane and Tatum Paxley.
Again?
We also got Tony D'Angelo taking on Dion Lennox.
That'll be good.
That'll be nice to actually finally figure out Tony's big issue.
Man, so they really slow burning Tony winning the title. They really slow playing.
I think I would like to see a not Mariah May. I mean, yes, we know her as Mariah May. I can't think of Blake Monroe. I think Blake Monroe versus Jada Parker has now just been. Yep.
That I'm actually.
NXT Vengeance Day Saturday, 7 p.m. You have a street fight: Jada Parker, Blake Monroe.
That I'm actually interested.
It's going to be very interesting. But guys, we actually got to get out of here. Quickly, I'm looking forward to being in Jersey this coming Saturday for Ace, the 8% Hero Celebration, to honor the life and legacy of Mike Morgan Jr. They put on great shows. We will have an interview actually dropping this week that I did with Alvin Alvarez, where we talk about the significance of that show and all that stuff. So we'll have that coming up next week. We'll have that coming out this week. We're also going to have next week a actual intro with a voiceover. Don't know who the voiceover guy is going to be, but we're going to actually have a voiceover intro.
Nice.
And then try to think of anything else here, but definitely we got NXT Vengeance coming up this weekend.
Watch it.
We got Revolution coming up. Mania's in a couple of weeks. So we got a lot of stuff coming up here. Guys, between the three of us, we'll have you guys all up to date. Oh, look, The Rock's on. Oh, wait. Let's see The Rock. No, that's Ricky Saints.
Ricky Saints.
Guys, well, actually, G, I'll talk to you first. Any final thoughts before we wrap things up for tonight?
Yeah, I'm hoping my internet and computer is working fast and sturdy for next week. So apologies to all around. Apologies to everyone watching. I don't know where I was in Borderland, but now I'm out. I'm back. And it's good to see you guys. And I can't wait to see Vengeance and come back next week with all y'all.
I just have one question, Ray, before I go to you. Why does Ricky Saints look like he's wearing pajamas?
He's wearing pajamas?
Because that's the style, man. He's that light, flowy, linen-y, silky material.
I gotta
baggy shirt.
He's modern day rock.
Pants.
Ray, what about you? Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. It is 9:53 p.m. EST. 15 degrees. Rain, hail, snow, sleet mix outside. Going to continue till about 4 o'clock in the morning when I wake up. I fucking hate it here, but I'll never leave. And finally, chinga la migra.
God bless you.
Yep.
Guys, final thoughts from me. Another great show. Want to thank everybody who watched. Want to thank everybody who tuned in. Definitely, if you missed anything from tonight's show, definitely go back to our Facebook page or go back to the YouTube page. This show will be the first show uploaded actually to Spotify and Apple and all that stuff this week at some point. So definitely stay tuned for that. I want to thank Wrestling Against Cancer for their help tonight. I also want to thank Simply Green for, as always, sponsoring the show. Guys, if you're in the Long Island area, definitely go check them out. They're on Middle Country Road in Quorum, New York. If you need THC or you need some tie-dye shirts or whatever, they're the place to go. Definitely go check them out.
You're saying they have psychedelics too?
Yeah. Oh, they got creams that have THC in it.
And they deliver.
Yes, and they'll be delivered soon.
They got you. They got you covered.
And also, there is a possibility that we might be doing something with them, not for WrestleMania, but for Backlash. So you got to stay tuned for that.
Sure.
But guys, for Ray and Jay, I'm John. This has been the Roundhouse Radio Show. Again, guys, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and we'll see you guys here next week. Same time, same channel.